So what's going on with Ja Morant right now? Ja Morant is in the headlines. I'm pretty sure everybody knows in here who Ja Morant is. A superstar NBA player that plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. We can't dance around it at this point and say that he's a rising talent. We can't say that he's a star. He is a superstar. What makes a superstar in the NBA? Of course, your game and your play, the attraction to you, the ability to be a franchise player, right? The ability to make all-star games, the ability to be a draw, the ability to put fans in the seats, the ability to be the reason why people watch that game tonight or watch you in the play or anticipate the playoffs because you're in. We know what constitutes a superstar in the league. And make no mistake, Ja Morant is one of them. You know, his style of play, he jumps through the fucking roof. He's like a Allen Iverson. It almost feels like with more hops. You know what I'm saying? Because his style of play, he's got a little bit of that street ball in him. You know what I'm saying? Like the type of moves that he pulls off his handles. So that's an attraction. You know what I'm saying? His look, his image. You know what I'm saying? Like the young black kid. He's 23 years old. It's a kid to me. It's 23. I knew what my mom was at 23, and we'll get to that part of why we even talk about Ja Morant in the first place. But his image is young. Is people's gonna draw to it. It's gonna gravitate. The whole hip hop culture is gonna gravitate to him. These companies even play on the hip hop culture by playing certain music, doing certain commercials, because the hip hop culture is appealing to the masses, to the eyes, to the world, to the ears. You know what I'm saying? So this is all drawing to somebody like a Ja Morant. He's a superstar. And I already spoke about how talented he is. You know what I'm saying? So he made headlines recently, right? First headline comes out about Ja Morant, and they say it was like a teenager or something like that. An accusation came out that he supposedly, beat up on or punched on some teenager and pulled the gun on or brandished the gun towards him, right? Now, when that report first came out, I took it only with a grain of salt because I haven't seen any proof. I could understand being in his shoes as a superstar, multimillionaire. Celebrities go through it all the time. There's a lot of celebrities that have true accusations on them, sex offenders and or assaults or all types of shit. That like celebrities have done a lot of wild and fucked up shit. Just because they're celebrities doesn't mean they're not regular everyday people. We put them on these pedestals and we really need to look at them as just regular people. I understand that they have a certain responsibility in the public eye, especially if they have a following, but at the same time, they're still people, they're still humans, right? So this kid, I'm going to keep calling him a kid because that's my perspective, and I want to drive that home as we continue to talk about this topic. This kid got a grain of salt from me when I heard those reports, because that happens to celebrities. Somebody be looking for a check. You know what I'm saying? Yo, he beat me up, or he pulled a gun, or whatever. About could have been a cell phone for all we know. Could have been a cell phone. Somebody say, "Nah, he drew." You never know. At that point, sometimes it just becomes my word versus yours in court. Next thing you know, somebody's trying to settle out, and they got the money, just like, get out of here. Here, take this $250,000 and get out of my face. And some accuser, you know what I'm saying, or alleged victim gets a payday. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it that grain of salt. And I do understand that Ja Morant also has prior incidents. I don't know all the details about him. I didn't see him with my own eyes. So I'm not the person that just sees a headline, hears news, and jumps out the window and says, "Oh, you did it. That's you. That's what you did. I saw a news article that said that you beat up some kid and you drew a gun on him. Ja Morant, you the worst." I don't do that. Could it be false? Yes. Could it be true? Yes. That's how I move. But I feel like the real bad step after that, the reason why it gets compounded after that, the reason why he just got suspended, is it's either he's suspended for 2 to 3 days, right? Is because he's on camera and it looks like he's in a club or a strip club or something like that, and he brandishes a gun, brandishes a handgun. What does the video look like? Let me go topic within a topic mode, because I'm gonna get off Ja Morant for a second, but I'm gonna stay on the topic. It's something that truly, truly disgusts me. I do understand that some of it comes with a level of, or a high level of, immaturity, right? some of it also comes from the nature of what we find appealing, especially in the Black urban hip hop culture. We gravitate to certain movies. We gravitate to gangsters. We care about who's snitching. We care about who's really about the shit that they rap about. That's our culture. Who's really in the streets. Some of us were young, and you might look up to the drug dealers in the neighborhood, or right. There's a lot of people that have these stories, and what we gravitate to, especially in the Black community, the urban community, the hip hop and culture and hip hop community, we gravitate to negativity a lot. I'm I'm same way. I'm not saying that, I'm not casting judgment, because who didn't? I rooted for Scarface too. You know what I'm saying? like sorry, it's true. Sorry, it's true. So I do blame some immaturity to a degree. But I also see, and some of it is the wave of social media. When it comes to people brandishing guns, the way that some of y'all go about it, and when I see it, I have, and I'm gonna use the word respectfully, because if you say the word respectfully, you take out all ability to disrespect somebody, right? Respectfully, I feel like a lot of y'all, I can't say all of y'all, let me still be open-minded, but a lot of y'all be goofy, lame chumps by brandishing guns in that type of way on the internet. When I see people, they do this shit, they holding it by the clip, like the ladder. A ladder is like a long, like let's say a 30 clip, right? That's more so like Philly slang, like a ladder, right? Think about the steps. It's like the bullets for a long ladder. Anyway, right? When I see people holding it by the clip, or when you hold it, you know what I'm saying, by the back, and they on the camera and they swinging, you know what I'm saying, not even holding it, which, I don't want to see that neither. You know what I'm saying? But this shit, when you see people do that, it's like a fad. It really is like a fad. Like I could pull up 100 videos easily of people doing that shit. Some of them driving in the car, listening to music. Some of them sitting in the living room. Some just cut on the camera. They man cut a This shit is like a fad. It's like the look of showing off your gun, right? Brandishing to me is a very, very weak, lame, goofy, stupid, and weak presentation and character attribute to a lot of the people. I won't say all once again, but to a lot of them. I see a lot of rappers do it. I see a lot of just general people on the internet do it. I've seen battle rappers do it. That's my opinion towards it. Brandishing. I feel like there's a lot of people where they're overwhelmed by the power in their hand of a gun. A gun is an extreme tool. It could take somebody's life like this, right? And to hold a gun for look at the Big K line. First time you ever shot a gun, first time I shot a gun, I don't want to spoil it too much. I don't want to promote the line too much, because when that battle's about to drop, and it's like one of the haymakers of the year to me. And I know a lot of people have seen it, but that's the power of holding a gun for the first time. We watching the last of Us roll out right now, when Shorty, what's her name, L or whatever, what's her name, L, whatever, first time they show her holding a gun, she's so intrigued by it. She's just, and a lot of us that held guns for the first time, whether legally or illegally, felt that way. You feel the power. You feel the rush a little bit. It makes you feel stronger. You feel a little bit more courageous. It's like some of you motherfuckers drinking at the bars. It's like, I ain't talking to no women in here until I get 2 drinks in me. That's you drinking your courage. It's cool. The point that I'm making is I understand it. But when you get to a certain age and a certain level of maturity, especially if you present yourself as a real and a sturdy and a strong and a solid and a mature person, if you on the internet doing this or brandishing for no reason, you're not my cloth. You're not my character. So that's just a subtopic. And I think y'all are goofy and corny as shit when y'all do it. You know what I'm saying? I know people that got 1 million guns. They've never shown them on camera. They've never brandished them. They've never tried to toil and play with them just because that's what everybody else is doing on the internet. I remember the wave in hip hop when it became corny to brandish guns and everybody stopped for a second. The DVD era, that was good. And I remember it came back. Remember when it came? I remember AR Ab, when he came back, where he stopped brandishing and then he started brandishing again to the point he was in his interviews like, yeah, I show my guns on camera. So what? Because it came back again, it became popular again. You know what I'm saying? Social media is that people want to show these elements, and I feel a way towards it. I did that subtopic within the topic because that's what Ja Morant did in this strip club, or in this club that he was in. Music playing, the vibe of that. Trust me, I know that type of bop, that type of energy make you feel the way. I don't know if there's liquor and drinks in the air. We've all been there, and here come the joint. And he probably holding the camera himself, which makes it lame too. You know what I'm saying? Which makes it lame too. But that's what he did. So even if I toss out the first shit of the allegations of you punching on some teenager and brandishing a gun allegedly, to this one, this is the video. We all see it. And it's sad because it's like, even though he's a kid and he's only 23 years old, we've seen a lot of kids grow up fast once they're in that level of stardom. The amount of media training that comes around you, the amount of professionalism that comes around, you got these every time these guys sign these deals and there's things that's going on, they go to these offices, they sit, as big as some of these superstars are, when it's time to go sit in front of the actual owner of the team, they be humble pie. Their voices is different. It's like some of these people that you see, they exaggerate the way that they talk on camera. When it's time to talk in front of a judge, or talk during deposition or litigation, or in front of a owner or somebody that cuts the check to you, they don't sound like that. They don't talk like that. They don't come off like that. They don't act like that. They switch that shit up real quick, don't they? Right? It'd be yes, ma'am. and I'm not dissing gun. That's old news to me. It switch, everything changes, right? So I feel like even though he's a kid and he's only 23 years old, so people are gonna say, that's a man, Adam. Stop calling him a fucking kid. I hear you, but 23 years old, mentality wise, there's a lot of childish shit that's still in there. You know what I'm saying? Especially you coming into that type of money, you're going back and you're grabbing everything you didn't have as a teenager too. You living still some teenager life, you partying it up or whatever. That's all dope. I did it too. But there's got to be enough people around him that realizes like, you're not just the bag. Like, you are one of them. It's his job. You are one of them. We don't give the LeBron Jameses of the world enough credit. He came in, it was the chosen one shit and everything, right? He came in as a kid. LeBron James has never been in trouble. Like, no scandals or no wild shit. Didn't get caught on some camera or some audio doing some wild shit or whatever. How did you be one of the biggest household names in the world for that long and never get in trouble? We got to give the LeBron Jameses of the world that type of credit, right? Because you got somebody like him that came in at the same age or a young age, and that type of shit didn't happen. And he was more looked at than Ja Morant at the time, right? So you could blame the people around him, but you also still got to go to the source of it. And it's a letdown because even though you're only 23 years old, dude, there's enough that has happened in your life where you've learned fast enough. Like, I can't do that. I'm signing these autographs and sneakers on jerseys every night to these little kids. I see all these millions of people that follow me. I see the way I got to be careful with my Twitter and my social media and certain things that I put up, because it'll end up on ESPN 4 hours later by Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman and all these people talking about it. And then you get to see your peers. You get to see stuff that happens to them. There's a lot of stuff that's been laid out for us to be like, okay, I can learn from that. You know what I'm saying? So Ja Morant, I could give him he's only 23, but at the same time, it's like, nah, nigga, sorry, it's true. Like, that was a very, very stupid move. And of course, the NBA is going to move on you. They got to set an example. So you'll lose a couple dollars that you're not really going to miss because of how rich you are. You'll get suspended for a couple games. And the power behind the NBA and the type of attorneys and the type of money that you have, even if those other allegations are true, money runs the world. You probably cut a check and get rid of that. But we expect both of these situations to be gone from everybody's memory 5 or 6 months from now. which is a blessing for the position that he's in right now, which means, dude, smarten the fuck up. And here's the difference as I close this out. The person that respects their own power, the person that respects their own power. If you go through a situation where you got these allegations and somebody just sends them a quick $250,000 and closes that out, or this situation with you brandishing a gun on camera, as lame as it was, and then you miss a couple games, you lose a couple dollars, and then 6 months from now, nobody gives a fuck about none of this. By the time we get to the playoffs, 6 months. By the time we get to the playoffs, nobody gonna be talk about none of this. Respecting your power means that you didn't go through this and tell yourself like, oh, that shit got swept under the rug, I'm gonna do it again, or I'm above the law. No. You get it swept under the rug because of who you are, who's behind you, how much money you have, the power that you have, the power that's around you. You get it swept under the rug and you tell yourself like, whew, all right, cool. Let me chill. Because if you didn't learn before, you just learned now. That's the important piece right there. Do not come out of the situations like this feeling empowered. Like I could just do this type of shit and get away with it. Because that happens all the time. Oh shit, I done robbed that last bank. Nothing happened, word. You start to get empowered. I did this or whatever. I done had this allegation, this girl, I done slapped this nigga on camera. I done punched this nigga off camera. My lawyers just made it go away. Okay, cool. All right. Careful. We watch shit catch up to people. Please, Ja Morant. I'm rooting for the young man. I'm a fan of his. Don't nobody want to see this bullshit around his name. Don't nobody want to see him carrying himself like that. Don't nobody want to see him setting that example for us as well. I don't want you on camera every fucking day as an NBA superstar. And then in your personal life, which is your personal life, keep it off camera. But the stuff that you make public, you put out a bad representation of what our success looks like. Don't do that. Don't do that, homie. Don't do that. And if you're not smart or mature enough to understand that, then please let there be people around him that's not pussy to his power or his money that can't tell him to do better. So I think I said enough about Ja Morant.